We decided to return to one of our favorite cities in Mexico, Merida. We traveled to the city in 2021 after the pandemic and fell in love with it. We met a few Americans and Canadians during that stay who had decided to make Merida their home. The city is beautiful and vibrant. It was so inexpensive compared to where we lived in America. The quality of life just felt better, and it moved us to consider early retirement. When you look at the fact that you could retire early and enjoy it while you are in great health, better quality of life because it's not as fast-paced and stressful, and it's affordable. But during the second visit, we asked ourselves repeatedly, is Merida, Mexico, still affordable? Hello and welcome. I am Trinice West, and this is my husband, Kevin. We recently retired, and our channel is all about our retirement journey, our travels across the U.S. and throughout the world. Join us on our adventures. Merida is one of the most safest and inexpensive cities in Mexico. We were amazed at how inexpensive everything was when we visited in 2021. Let's see what the current costs are today using some of the websites that I'm going to go through. The first one is Numbeo. So we're going to go to Numbea, and this is one website that you can use to do cost of living comparisons. So I've used this one before, and there are other ones. I decided to compare Merida, Mexico with, I live in Virginia, and so I select a city in Virginia. This is Richmond, it's the capital, and it's about a medium-sized city, I would say. And you can look at the differences between the costs of items in Merida versus Richmond, Virginia. Now, you can also do this with your city to see which, how this would pan out or compare with your particular city. So here you see restaurant meals, Merida, $11.39. This is USD. You see Mexican underneath. That's what's kind of nice. They'll show you that as well. $20 in Richmond. Um, See McDonald's here. This is about the same. McDonald's is consistently the same across for its food. Now, sometimes some places you go to, the price is a lot different. Here, if you're drinking beer, $3.30 versus $5. Cappuccino is actually more in Merida. Um, and some of these things you have to also, because I'm looking here where they're saying some things here are more expensive, but if you go to in Merida versus Richmond, but if you go to local markets and a lot of these places, local communities, you can definitely beat these kind of prices. These are probably grocery store prices. And I wouldn't just use one site. I'm also going to show you another site. So this is food, transportation. I thought Ubers were a lot cheaper in Merida versus, places in America. But, you will have to go and like I said, price out with your city. This is the part I really wanted to go to, though, was the rent, because these are usually pretty good estimates here. So here in Merida, one bedroom, the city center, so around $700. You see here in Richmond, it's $1,500, and that's about the going rate in America now. It's really difficult to get anything that's around $1,000. You can, but it's tough. And you see outside. So here you see it's a huge difference there. Now another site that you can use, and this one's kind of nice because a lot of a lot of these things do have a lot of ads. So know that going into some of these websites. But this is called Expatistan. I'm not sure if I'm saying any of these websites correctly, but at least you can see it on the screen. And I compared Richmond to Merida, and they're saying that Richmond's 52% more expensive than Merida. And you go down. I like this one because you got a little graph. And with this one, a lot of expats are the people that live in these areas are actually putting in the data. So it's like, people on the ground. They're actually doing a lot of this. And so here it shows you the total, and you can see the food, the difference. So Richmond's the one in orange, and Merida is the one in blue. And you see housing. And this is America. This is like in the United States. For those of you who live are Americans, and probably your country too, if you're in other parts of the world. But this is huge. I mean, housing is just going to be so expensive in America, and I think that's where you save a lot is when we're traveling because it's just a lot less expensive in other countries. So to me, your biggest areas is food and housing and transportation. And you can see here that you can definitely save in those areas. So that's another site. Another thing, oh, and then go down here and then you can drill into the actual items here as well. Housing you see here. So they're saying this is furnished was 2,200, and then you see here monthly rent down here is 1,500, and then they have these are all furnished places, and then you can see what it is for Merida. And Merida, this one's a little weird because they have it here. They've got it in Mexican, so it'd been kind of nice if they had it in U.S. dollars too. I don't know why they didn't do the conversion for both, but you can see. I guess they were saying this is the conversion. You can see it in Mexican for Richmond, and so I guess they said, well, you see, it's 37,000 versus 19, so this costs more. So you can see the difference here. So anyway, it's always kind of cool to look at some of these places, and these are some of the things you want to take into consideration when you're traveling to some of these places, because you maybe get a cheap flight, but then you get there, it can be very expensive to actually move and navigate when you're actually there. Last, because we didn't actually live when we went to Merida this last time we were visiting, so Airbnb, but I'm just looking at how affordable things are. So Airbnb, I just put in similar dates to when we were there in December, and so here you can see the cost for places, and you see this part of Merida here, but you can see its prices are, um, a huge range. You see this place here, 1,400 a month. This is 1415, and then you have prices that are there. But then you go down, like this one. It looks really nice. This is 1,000, but it's a loft. This is 14. This is 1,200, 1,282 for one bedroom there. So different costs. This is a two bedrooms, has a rooftop. It's very nice. That's 1,000. And this is a super host. Sounds like a pretty nice place. I love this part of usually Kevin and I divide and conquer when we're planning our trips. I'll do the Airbnbs. I'll get a list of ones I'm really interested in, and then I'll put it in our app, and then he'll go through and then select one, and then he handles the transportation. But I absolutely love looking at houses and accommodations and things like that. That's fun for me. You see this one. This was 1,200. Beautiful. That's a guest suite. There's a home here, 956. So it just depends how close you are, what amenities they have. This one's 846, 1289. So you see the different prices there. But it is more expensive than it was when we were here last time. You know, prices have definitely went up. And you see, this is March and this is December. So as you get closer to it, the prices do go up. So that's just something to think about. This is an example of a hotel cost that can be found on booking.com. We usually use Airbnb and also booking.com for our accommodations. This year, we're going to try branch out and do some more hotels. So we'll see how that does. We're really working on bringing our accommodation costs down. So if you have any suggestions at all, please put them in the comments below. Places that maybe sites that you've used that have been helpful to help you save money to do this as inexpensively as possible. So for one bedroom apartment, during the high season, January, because we were there in December, January, all those time periods are high season, and be $1,127. So that's a fantastic price for an Airbnb in Merida. Our cost strategy was to use Airbnb and to stay a month. And if you stay at least 28 days, if you stay a week, you get the weekly rate, 7 days. If you stay 28 days to a month, you get the monthly rate. So that makes a huge difference in your costs. So our strategy was to stay for a month. For flights, we use Southwest, so we can use the Southwest points. Food, we try to, we only eat 2 meals a day, and we usually eat out only once a day. We try to cook as much as possible at the Airbnb. Entertainment, a lot of DIY, just a few tours if possible, and local travel, usually use Uber. And to get over, we did use the audio bus to get from the airport back and forth from Merida to Cancun. As you can see, this is a beautiful city, lots of things to do, a lot of expats. So to me, it's a soft landing if you want to start off living in Mexico or just visiting Mexico. We stayed in an Airbnb. It was about 30, almost 40 minutes to Centro. We took the audio bus from Cancun and we stopped at the Paseo 60 destination because there are a couple bus stops in Merida. So you need to check to see which one you want to stop at when you are according to where you're staying. So there are a couple different, it's at least two, maybe three, but I know of at least two that are there in Merida. It was about a 4-hour bus ride, 4 hours or so, and it costs approximately about $50 per person. You can buy your tickets ahead of time, or you can wait until you get to Cancun, and the, counter, you have to go through the car we get through customs, you go through the car rental area where you'll see the guys trying to get you to rent a car or tours or things like that. You go through there, and then you go through some doors, and it's off to the right, the counter is, and so you can talk to the person there and get your tickets. The thing is, if you feel a little nervous about waiting, just check online a couple days beforehand to see if it's booking up. And if it is, I will go ahead and book it. It's funny because it will be, you will look like 2 weeks out and it's just a totally empty bus. And then 1 week out, a few more people. And it's like a couple of days out, everyone's booking. So if you feel a little nervous about it, you can go ahead and book. But they do have a lot of buses coming through there regularly. So um, I think you should be okay if you do decide to wait. The Airbnb was $1,475. And we were there during the holidays, so this was the high season, and the city was decorated so beautiful there. 24 days in Merida. What we did, we booked 6 months out, so we booked our flight in June for our December travel. We used Companion Pass, which we had in 2023. We do not have it in 2024, so we will see how that plays out. We're doing some different travel this year, and we will try to make a video about the rest of our travel for this year. Still putting all that together. We still had to pay taxes and fees for the flight. That was $220. And the audio bus from Cancun Airport to Merida was $95 for two people. And going back, it was $145 because we actually had to cut our trip short a few days um, to get back to US. We had a family member with a medical emergency. So we had to book like a week out, and we couldn't get a direct flight, the same bus. We couldn't get it back from Merida straight to the Cancun airport. So what we had to do was we did Merida to Cancun downtown. Then we took a bus from Cancun downtown over to the airport. So it was a long travel day. I think we started at 1 a.m. But Southwest came through for us. And then we were able to squeak in our companion pass one last time before the end of the year for the 31st. And so we used points. We didn't have to pay for the flight. So one person used points, the other person flew free. So we just had to basically pay for taxes and fees and for our, bus transportation over. So that worked out really well for us. So for restaurant meals, we spent $1,417. Probably a little bit more than we should have. We went a little bit over budget with that, but the food is so amazing in Merida. It's delicious. And so, yeah, we enjoyed it. We did do the grocery store some. You can see that that's pretty low for us. We usually try to do a little bit more, and we need to do better in that area. And as far as activities, we only did the tour, and then we went up to Progresso. The tour on Airbnb experiences for both of us was 188, and we had Ubers. Now Ubers are pretty inexpensive, 5, 6, $7 to get you back and forth. And but this price, $270, seems like a lot. It does add up quickly, but it also includes the Uber back and forth from Progresso Beach, which was a little bit further out. Now, I felt like we spent more on Ubers because our Airbnb was a little further out. And so next time we'll try to get closer to town. So transportation, again, those fees, $460 for the flight fees and the audio bus, and our Airbnb was for 1475. So how much did we spend? We spent $4,011. We were on budget. Yay. So it averaged about $167 a day. And I will try to do a future video that talks about our budget and how we can afford this. So we're on budget. So super excited, especially after Cabo. Super excited. So we definitely enjoyed our time in Merida. Some takeaways. We did not like this Airbnb as much as our first one. Our first one was owned by an American. He came, they renovated it. It was beautiful. It was close to the city. I think that was the main thing. And but this one was a nice one too. The host was super nice. He actually, if you wanted them to come in and clean once a week, I think it was like $25 or something like that. Not bad at all. And there was it still was close to things. You could there was restaurants nearby that we ate at, so that part was nice. It was just if you wanted to be close to the city center, it was a bit of a walk or a lot of Uber rides. It was small but clean. Fantastic outdoor space. Loved it, loved it, loved it. The other concern we had was the air conditioner was only in the bedroom. So I felt like we were confined to just living in that bedroom, because it was still hot, even though it was December in Merida. So I couldn't imagine, I couldn't probably stay there in the summertime. If air conditioner is not your thing, or it's not a problem for you, you probably could, do that. But yeah, it was a bit of a problem for us. If you were traveling by yourself solo, it'd be a fantastic place to stay at. So that was that. Another takeaway, Merida is definitely cheaper than Cabo, but you have to search for inexpensive places to eat because food is going up everywhere. And so it was a little bit pricey there. Number 3, Kevin would stay closer to Progresso Beach next trip. I'll be happier staying near Progresso or closer to Centro. So either way. So is Merida, is it still affordable? It's the big question. Yes, it is more expensive than our previous visit in 2021. However, I feel that it is still more affordable than a lot of places in the United States or other parts of the world. But to be fair, prices are going up everywhere in the world, and there's so many people traveling. So the cost of travel has increased, the cost of food, the cost of housing. And so Merida is not immune to any of that. So prices are going up there, but it's still affordable. Merida is becoming a popular destination for Mexicans and for foreigners. A lot of people from America and Canada are moving down there to live. So it's a great place to live, and people have discovered that, and they are. It's booming. The city is booming. Do I think it's a great place to visit or to live? Yes, it's a really wonderful place. It'll be a great base to live there and to travel to other parts of Mexico or Central America, or to even go back and forth. What's nice if you're an American, you can quickly get back to the States if you're living there. So it's definitely a great place. Merida holds a special place in my heart because this is the city that we started our journey towards early retirement. We met other expats there, living there, that told us their stories, and it inspired us to take this leap. And we start thinking about, so we can do this. If we live outside of the United States for part of the year, we can definitely afford to retire early because we won't need as much money to live. So this city um, gave us that spark and gave us the courage to start this journey. So even though we decided not to live there, we definitely got inspired to start this journey. So I absolutely love that about Merida. So it made us realize that we could either um, live, in an inexpensive place, or we could travel to inexpensive places, affordable places in the world to do this early retirement journey. So definitely, Merida is still affordable and it's still a great place to visit. I couldn't live there in the summertime because it's too hot, but I'm sure you can get even better prices in the summertime, and it can be really affordable for you. So it might be a great place to start your journey in early retirement because you can look at some places that are affordable and then maybe move on from there. So thanks so much for watching our video today, and we ask that you would consider subscribing and sharing our video with other people. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, everyone.